Hello friends, Sarah Sunstone here, and welcome back to Thinking Out Loud. In today's episode, we will be going over the big reveal for Palia's Elderwood update. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. In case you missed the latest announcement from Palia, the game will be launching on both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S on May 13th, alongside the Elderwood Expansion, which opens the door to a mysterious new adventure zone, which is an ancient, overgrown forest teeming with magical echo and secrets hidden beneath its shadowy canopy. This adventure zone will feature a heightened sense of verticality and secret nooks to uncover, aggressive yet adorable creatures such as the Ogapu and the elusive Shmole, new story quests starring familiar faces including Nayo and Subira, hidden artifacts that unlock powerful relics, which is a new equipment system buffing you and your party, brand new fish, insects, and plushes to personalize your home, plus hours of exploration, adventure, customization, and more for you and your friends to enjoy. But this expansion will have so much more to offer than what has been shared so far, and the announcement trailer is full of details you might have missed. So let's go through it together and break it all down. You'll probably notice right away that there's a ton of purple in the Elderwood content, so if purple isn't already your favorite color, it's going to be very soon. It looks like this is going to be the doorway to the new adventure zone, so we will be able to access the new Elderwood adventure zone through the Bahari Bay adventure zone. I don't know if there'll be any shortcuts. I hope there will ultimately be a bit of a shortcut to and from our home plot. And right here, right away, we already see something that looks very suspicious to me. Do you see this? This looks like a sort of spirit or like an essence or something. So perhaps this is a new resource we will be able to gather. And this does look like it is the new Elderwood zone here between all of the new flowers and even just the way this archway is built. We can definitely tell that we don't have that in the game right now. So it does look very expansive so far, but also designed with that verticality like they mentioned in the blog. So probably lots of climbing, some higher vantage points, and then those lower areas to explore as well. So that's going to be fun. And then again, look, you see this here again. So there's definitely something going on here. There's definitely something going on with that. There's also some giant mushies in the background, which look amazing. Okay, so here is another example of how it's going to be so fun to explore the area. It literally looks like we can climb up these trees, and there's almost like little tree houses in certain spots. So it looks like all of these little things, all of these mushrooms are little platforms that you can climb. So it feels very much like a playground of sorts. And you will notice these trees actually look like they have flow running through them. We do know this zone is very much tied to flow. So there's probably gonna be tons of flow and tons of magic in the Elderwood. And then interestingly, it looks like there's going to be lots of bouncy elements too. We recently just got access to some little bouncy cushions like this that we can place in our home plots. So that was almost like a little heads up, like a little teaser ahead of time of an element we can find in the Elderwood. So that's kind of fun. I do really love them. They're really fun to bounce on. So yeah, that looks like it's very much going to be tied in with exploration here. So okay, here we go. Here we have a tree that is a new tree that we can chop, so it'll probably be a new type of wood that we'll collect. Maybe there'll also be like a new kind of like amber adjacent type of item, like as a rare drop. And hopefully we'll be able to get seeds for these to plant back on our home plots. And then here's a clip of some players climbing those trees that we were looking at from afar earlier. So again, very fun. Now, this trailer, do keep in mind this trailer is also to celebrate the launch of the game on PS5 and Xbox. So there's lots of other elements in the trailer that are just, kind of promoting the base game itself and what that has to offer. Like, life in Kilima Village, spotting that flow tree grove in Bahari Bay. But then we get another look at Elderwood, and this actually almost looks like, not like a marketplace per se, but it kind of just looks like a hub. Right? So we see a fast travel board here, which presumably we'd be able to jump around to different points throughout Elderwood to, get around. I'm assuming we'll have to visit them first though. Like we'll have to discover those boards first to unlock them. We can see 3 NPCs in this clip. First, we have Subira, who, according to the blog, is going to be quite tied into this zone, which isn't a surprise if you have completed the main story, because Subira comes in and is very much leading an investigation related to Flo and how that's kind of almost seeping out into Kilima and Bahari, where it maybe shouldn't be. Of course, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a huge quest line with Subira, so I wouldn't be surprised if that, ultimately extends to lead us here. And then they also mentioned Nayo, actually, as one of the main NPCs who will have some significant quest lines in Elderwood, which I thought was interesting. I mean, maybe it's not that surprising if you've really gotten to know Nayo. I think I've only gotten to level 2 with Nayo, so I don't know a ton about him, but for some reason he doesn't strike me as the character that would be here and have quests for you. I was thinking more of a Tamala, who Tamala is here. So I'm sure Tamala loves to visit the Elderwood. She probably gets a lot of her ingredients here and supplies, honestly, for all of her little potions that she makes. So I'm not surprised to see her here. She probably loves hanging out here. But I was surprised about Nayo. So those are the 3 NPCs we see in this shot. And I love how it looks. I mean, it almost looks like we're underground, just with how there's these cliffs and then how the trees kind of envelop everything. And it does, I don't know, it kind of looks like we can actually climb up here. This actually looks like an elevated platform, like a bridge right here. Okay, so then we get our first look at one of the new creatures for the Elderwood zone. I believe this is the Ogapu. And they did say that some of these creatures are a little bit aggressive. So if they're aggressive, that's kind of hinting that they might actually fight back, which would be an interesting development on the typical hunting mechanics. And then we also see a player catching, I guess, a new fish. I mean, can we call that a fish? It looks like a shark, like a miniature shark. So yeah, they did say there would be new fish, new insects and such in this zone as well, which will be fun to discover. So then we get to see our first look at some of the new furniture and decor that will be integrated with this update. Definitely an Elderwood theme. We don't know how we're going to acquire this furniture. We don't know if it's going to be craftable or purchasable or both. We don't know any of that yet. I definitely can imagine so many amazing builds being done with this set. This looks like it's all part of a set, with some other more classic items mixed in there. But the lights, this planter looks amazing. There's a little sconce here. It's a full set. There's, would this be a fridge? And this item's really cool too. Look at these big leaves. So yeah, this looks like an awesome set, and I can imagine us using it outside as well. Some of these items will look amazing outside. We do see a bit of a closer look here. There's actually a sink item, and this is so cool. It has a purple bowl sink on it, a little crystal bowl down here too, and I love the asymmetrical shape of it. Also, this little cabinet up here, that's another item. We can actually see that it looks like we can bring some of those trees home, hey? Because look at these. Yeah, you can see how they've added touches of purple all around this build with the new items. So you can definitely bring home a lot of these items and add them to your existing build. Now, do we think these are, because those are kind of like those lamps we saw everywhere. Do we think this is an item, or do we think this is a tree right here? This could definitely be an item. Oh, look at these items. Oh, these are cool. Look at these. It's like a log, a little couch. These look really nice. Yeah, tons of new furniture items, you guys. What is this little guy? Do you guys have one of these? What are these little guys? Is this a taco plushie? And what is this little guy? I need these little guys. I don't have those. So there's 2 Ogapu plushies here, at least. There could be more. There's so many plushies in this shot. I can also see, oh, this is like that bouncy thing, but upside down is a light. That's cool. Yeah, I can see more of the furniture in here too being used. And then look, we see another creature here. So I believe this is the Shmole. So we'll see this guy again in a little bit, but we see the plushie here, so you can capture that guy too. And then again, another shot with so much. Oh, look at these. Oh, this looks like it's part of an item, right? I was gonna say this might be another tree, but I think it's part of the same item because look at the base here. It kind of reminds me of what I've seen of some of the bundle rewards that exist where it has this big base to it. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have our work cut out for us trying to collect all these things. Oh my gosh, the backpack. Wait, can we get a backpack item like that? You see that? There's 2 of them. Oh my gosh, backpack item confirmed. All I wanted is that backpack. Yeah, this is wild. There's so much to look at here in this shot. We have this Shmole plushie again here. So then, when they shift focus to the continuation of the story and discovering an ancient secret, we see these like purple orbs which are, very flow reminiscent, and some floating platforms. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like another temple. I mean, I have no idea what we're looking at here, but it looks really, really, really crazy. This reminds me of like the Galder a little bit in its structure and material. And it almost looks like it's opening some kind of crazy portal or something. Like, I have no idea what's going on here, but does this not look like a new NPC? I will ask you. Because to me, this looks like a new NPC. And clearly an extension of the story. I'm guessing the new NPC would be very like heavily involved with the story. That is really exciting because I have been really, really wanting more story content from Palia. That's what I feel like has really been missing. It started out so strong and then it kind of just lulled for like over a year, in my opinion, with story. And so I'm really excited to get back into that, and I hope it's very rich, and I hope there's a lot of hours worth of story content specifically too. So this looks promising because this looks very elaborate and fancy, and like there's a lot to explain and uncover here. And then once again, we can see the players here going for a different variant of the Ogopu. Looks like there'll be a few different tiers, kind of like probably like the Sernuk and Chappas and Mujin. They're kind of keeping that theme with having different variants of each, it seems. Okay, and then here's the Shmole, which you can begin to understand the name for it because it's popping out of the ground like a mole, but it has a mushy little head. So a Shmole, a Shroomy, a Shmole. That's perfect. It looks like they can actually pop from the ceiling too. So this will also be a fun kind of mechanic for hunting these because it's not going to be like they're just there. They're going to pop in and out of the ground or the ceiling, I presume, and it's kind of like whack-a-mole but hunting, so that'll be fun. And look at all the beautiful mushrooms in the background here. Now, you might have missed this, okay? I understand if you missed this. First of all, how quick are the crops being watered? But second of all, pumpkin. And what is this? Is this a beanstalk? Are these peas? What is this? It looks like it is on a plot. It doesn't look like it's a decor item and there's water dripping off of it. And you can see where the ground has been tilled. It looks like we're going to get new crops. And then interestingly, we see a clip of Zeki with some kind of magical flow stone of sorts. So definitely could come into play with the story. And then, of course, Subira, we know, will be heavily involved with the story, and we have no idea what's going on here. This could be connected to whatever we saw in that temple-like structure, because it looked like the character there was, like, setting something off or releasing something, unleashing something, activating something. Not sure, but Subira does look a little bit concerned, which is understandable because she's supposed to be, like, protecting the use of flow and, like, regulating it, basically, from my understanding, so... yeah, she's probably like, uh-oh. There's like flow everywhere. And like, look at these. Look at these bits of energy here. This looks like it's in Bahari. So it looks like the flow has escaped basically, or whatever this energy is moving beyond just the Elderwood. And then here, what are these little guys? They're moving, so they're not plushies. So how would we get these? We could catch them like bugs. Actually, can we see what this character is catching here? Actually, right here, we can see the frog right there, and this player is trying to catch it with a smoke bomb. I'm pretty sure that's the frog. So we'll be able to catch little frogs, which will be so cute. If you get star quality, I imagine you'd be able to display them. This area looks really cool because it looks more open than the other areas in Elderwood that we've seen. Oh, is that a fish back there? Do you see that? Look at that. Looks like a fish of some sort. And then you think it's all over. You think it has ended. But they leave us on a bit of a cliffhanger. What is that? And who is that? There's like a portal and then some character's legs. So once again, I think this must be the new NPC. So once again, this expansion to Palia will be releasing on May 13th, alongside its debut on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. So I'm very excited to ultimately play it on PS5 as well. It's my platform of choice. So I'm excited to make that transition. You can pick up your existing game and move it over to one of those other platforms if you'd like to, if it's your preferred platform. So there will be cross progression and there will be cross play. So if your friends play on a different platform, you don't have to worry about that. You can play with your friends regardless of which platform you choose and which platform they're on. I think this was an amazing first look at some of what Elderwood will have to offer, and and I'm hoping we're going to get to learn more leading up to the release of this expansion. Let me know down in the comments if you picked up on any other hidden details in the trailer and your thoughts on what we've seen so far. Let me know what you're most excited for, curious about, anything and everything. You know I always love hearing from you. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and until next time, take care.